SHW pre-show.
SHW, this is our wrestling.
Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
All right. I believe we're live. We are live. We're live from the Action Building for the TCW versus SHW Fight for the Children pre-show. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield. You might notice there's no GB Gerard Bonner. There's no Diana Michelle, but there is our backstage correspondent, the lovely Cheyenne Michaels. How you feeling?
Hey, I feel good. How are you feeling tonight?
We're good. We've got a little, you know what? Let's shift to the left.
Okay.
We're live, folks. We're going to wing this. We're going to just go as we go here. Okay, so Diana Michelle is here, but she's saving her voice. She's backstage somewhere. Getting prepared for the big show. Of course, we're about 45 minutes away from bell time. Bell time is 8 p.m. Doors have opened. There's a great crowd already filing in. Of course, big matches tonight. It's two big promotions, SHW, TCW. It's unheard of that you have a combined show like this where it's like one versus the other. And so all of these matches, we're going to see representatives from SHW, representatives from TCW going head-to-head. Also, 4 big title matches. And on top of that, the main event, Rhino, the legendary Rhino. And he's not, and it's not SHW TCW. He's defending the DWA Ultra-Violent Championship against our very own Killbilly Nathan Mowry.
Whoa.
Are you excited for that one?
I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good.
So we're kind of going backwards here. Let's start with the main event. Let's talk about the main event. You've known Nathan Mowry since day one. You're a day one.
I am.
Right? And so we're just coming off the huge 6th anniversary show. How exciting was that?
It was so exciting. It was a really good show.
Yeah.
I really liked that show.
Fantastic. We just did a recap episode earlier in the day about that one. And,
and you didn't invite me?
I apologize.
I'm just kidding.
I think you were in school maybe, so we
probably.
did it this morning. And anyways, but I tell you what, real quick, I know we're live. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit, just for the people at home. Give us a little more headroom. There we go. I feel like my head was getting cut off. Anyways.
Can't have that.
We're live, folks. We'll do it live. But, so yes, we recapped the SHW Still Here 6 show. And, of course, we had a lot of big champions, new champions coming out of that show. Some of those champions here tonight defending for the first time.
Ooh.
So that's very exciting.
That
We're
is
gonna
exciting.
See Joe Black defending the SHW title for the first. Actually, he defended it last week at Forever Pro against the Kenway. He was successful in his first title defense. He'll defend it again here tonight. We've got Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, the Infantry. We saw your little interview after the last show. How was that interviewing those guys fresh off the win?
That was super fun. They were crazy. They were really excited that they won, and I was super happy for them.
That's awesome. Well, we were all very excited. I think the whole building erupted, and everybody was excited to see.
The building was so loud.
Yeah,
I mean, really loud.
Well, the whole night was insane, and so we're looking forward to it being loud again tonight because this is going to be a crazy show. They're defending for the first time the Southern Honor Tag Team Championships. They'll be facing TCW stars. Jack Jameson Ryan, and, of course, Jimmy Wild. They'll be teaming together, so it'll be an interesting tag team match there. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Then we've got another new title defense. Kyle Matthews, the brand new Jake the Snake Legacy Champion, will be defending for the first time.
The first time?
Against QT Marshall.
Ooh, that's a big opponent to offend.
Now you've been around Georgia wrestling for quite a while. You're familiar with QT Marshall, even though he's had a cup of coffee here in SHW. He hasn't been around a whole lot, but we've seen him a couple times. Yeah. What are your thoughts for Kyle Matthews going into this huge match with QT Marshall?
I think that's going to be a lot of pressure for him, honestly. But I think it's going to be good. QT's really good, and Kyle is too. So I think it'll be really good.
People online all week have been calling this a technical wrestling fan's dream match.
Yeah.
Because, Kyle being an 8-time technical wrestler of the year in the state of Georgia. Yeah. QT, he's got a huge resume. He's won titles all over the world. The thing is, he can brawl, he can go technical, he can go any style you want. And this one's going to be very, very good. Something that's interesting, both of these guys have gone back and forth on social media over the last week.
Have they?
Not in a bad way, just saying how they respect each other and how this is a unique match because in Kyle Matthews' 20-plus years in the business, he's never faced QT Marshall. QT has moved moved to Georgia, I think, like 7 or 8 years ago, and since that time has heard all this talk about Kyle Matthews, but they've never gotten in the ring together. So first-time matchup, and could be a last-time matchup. We'll see here tonight. Could QT Marshall take the Jake the Snake Legacy title back to Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling? Let's hope not. Now here, it's a little interesting. We are on the SHW podcast pre-show, so I have to be a little careful with what I say here, but at the same time, we told you guys on the earlier podcast that myself, Gerard, and Diana are the voices of Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling as well as SHW.
Oh.
So it's kind of a little bit
you
of
have like a split.
Yeah,
split.
so I got to be careful who we're unbiased, of course. We got to be unbiased, but
Sure.
unless it's like Exotic Youth or
nobody
some
likes
jerks
them.
like
That's
that,
okay.
Nick Halen, any of those guys, Matt Griffin.
Anyways.
Anyway, there's apparently a lot that I could be biased against. Anyways, let's talk about this match. Hunter James, Brady Booker. Now, Hunter James is coming off of the big loss to Kyle Matthews at Still Here 6. What kind of headspace do you think he's in? You know, he was on such a high, with that title reign.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be a good loser.
Yeah.
Like, I think that he's really mad.
I
Well,
think you're
obviously
right.
he's mad, but
Yeah.
like,
This time he has no excuse. You know, back at the Rumble Jack when we all thought Kyle won the match,
Yeah.
turns out Hunter's foot was under the ropes. The decision got reversed. Well, this time it's Still Here 6. There was no shenanigans, no controversy. Yeah, but I should take that back. There were shenanigans because Tristan Michaels always tries to get involved. No relation, right, Cheyenne Michaels?
No.
Tristan Michaels? Okay, just making sure. Making sure I wasn't talking about your
I am my own person.
Okay,
I have
good.
no relations.
So the guiding light, Tristan Michaels, always trying to get involved in the match. And he tried the other night, but it was 2 out of 3 falls. And Kyle Matthews, but this time, what I meant to say, no controversy in this matchup. So the decision was final. Kyle Matthews finally gets that monkey off his back and becomes the Jake the Snake Legacy Champion. But a huge title defense here. But back to Hunter James, who lost that match. Yeah, what kind of mood's he going to be in? He's facing Brady Booker, everybody's favorite Brody, Brady Booker. Now, a lot of you might remember Brady Booker from NXT, but he's been doing big things with Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling ever since they relaunched earlier this year. So if you haven't seen him live, have you seen him live?
I haven't seen him live.
You were
so
gonna,
this will be my first time seeing
the crowd's
him.
going to love this guy. Every show we have. So just to take you back a second. So we talked about this on the earlier podcast this morning, but a refresher for those watching now and didn't get a chance to see that show. As I mentioned, V3, we are the voices of Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling as well as Southern Honor. Well, we had our huge relaunch show back in February of this year. And since that time, we've been going on the relaunch tour, the TCW relaunch tour, all over the state of Georgia. So we've been hitting spots all over Georgia. And every show we go to, when Brady Booker's on the show, the crowd loves it. I mean,
Really?
he's just so hype, his energy. He's just such a positive spirit. And so I think the crowd
I'm
here,
excited.
yeah, the crowd here is really going to like him. But it's going to be interesting because you're going to have that mentality, that mindset of Brady Booker, and then you're going to have Hunter James, who's coming off that title loss, and I don't really know where his head's going to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see tonight. And is Tristan Michaels going to be here, and will he be in Hunter's corner? We'll find out later tonight. Another big match coming up. Now, this one's a little interesting because while it is technically an SHW versus TCW matchup, both of these guys have been prominent in SHW over the last year or so, and I'm talking about Alexander Lev and the Warden. Now, as you remember a couple of weeks ago at Still Here 6, Alexander Lev went against Fluffman. Actually, Fluffman went against all of the Faithful in that Faithful Gauntlet match.
I remember.
I will tell you, there were a few times where we've heard the loudest pops in SHW history. When Fluff won that Gauntlet match a couple of weeks ago,
Oh, yeah.
I think that ranks up there with one of the biggest reactions we've had before.
Top 5.
Now, as you remember, Warden had travel issues, could not make it to the show. He was supposed to be part of that gauntlet. Instead, it ended up being Joey Hyder filling in, and they ended up losing that match. Now, since that time, Alexander Lev, well, you heard him say it in the ring, he is now lost. And he blames Warden for not being at the show.
Of course
and
he
causing
does.
them to lose that match. He says if Warden had been here, they would not have won would not have lost the gauntlet. And so there's a little heat there. On top of that, while they both have been prominent in Southern Honor Wrestling, back at that relaunch show for TCW that I mentioned back in February, Warden was on that show and actually became the Nightmare Factory champion on that show.
Really?
He's no longer the Nightmare Factory champion, but he has done a lot with TCW over the TCW relaunch tour over the summer and over just the past year. So He'll kind of be representing TCW here. You've got Lev representing SHW, but there is a little personal animosity there after Warden not showing up at the – and again, he had travel issues. We know about the bad weather that came through a few weeks back. And so, you know.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault, but Alexander Lev doesn't apparently look at it that way.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We talked about QT Marshall and Kyle Matthews. That's going to be a huge match. Now, here's another one I'm excited about, a singles match where we have somebody who has been in SHW a time or two before. We haven't seen him lately, but he's been doing a lot with Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, and that is the Mexican rock star, Very Morales.
Ooh.
Now, he'll be facing – I mentioned the former Faithful earlier, talking about Lev and Warden. Well, another former Faithful member, Grayson Pierce, will be facing Very Morales in singles action. And just like I don't know where I mentioned I don't know where Hunter James' head is at. I don't really know where Lev's head is at right now, or the Warden for that matter, or Grayson Pierce. Now that he is no longer part of that Faithful faction, are they lost? Alexander Lev is lost, and so where's Grayson Pierce's mindset right now going into this match? Now, Very Morales, he couldn't care less about what happened at the last show, and he's just here to put on a great performance like he always does, and he's here to win a match. And so I think he's going to come into this just like he always does. He's a high flyer. He's very exciting to watch, very physical, and we saw him here a couple of years ago. You'll remember this one. Remember the Petty Party match against Ashton Starr?
Oh, my gosh.
It was a hardcore match, Petty Party rules, and it was absolutely insane. And remember Susie got involved?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
That was a really good match.
That was wild.
That was very petty.
And so, but we remember what a great performance Very Morales had in that matchup. And so he's back tonight here in the Action Building. And it's going to be a good one, singles action against Grayson Pierce. I mentioned the infantry going against Jack Jameson and Jimmy Wild. Now, Jack Jameson, we know him from BGU, all around the independent scene, Body Guy University. Somebody else who was just here a couple of weeks ago, Big Trouble Ben Bishop, was a former member of Body Guy University. So just Jack Jameson's got a great personality. However, he tends to jaw with the fans a lot. The fans will get into it with him. He'll get into it with the fans. So we'll see if he comes out here tonight, if he has anything to say to this crowd. But he'll be teaming with Jimmy Wild, a guy that I've not actually seen him team with. Now, both of these guys have done a lot with Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling over the last several months. I've just not seen them team together, so I don't really know how they're going to do as a team.
Yeah.
But they're going to have their hands full because you're talking about a team they're going against for the SHW tag titles, the Infantry, who have been a team for quite a while, and they're a well-oiled machine. And I know you know these guys really well.
I do. I don't know what to think about that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally haven't seen Jimmy Wild live or really on social media either, so I'm not really familiar with him, but
great
the
athlete.
Infantry I am familiar with, and they go hardcore.
And that's the thing. A lot of these guys from TCW, I'll just back up a second. Like I said, it's a lot of SHW versus TCW. These TCW competitors coming in here tonight, they're coming into enemy territory, right?
Yeah.
So SHW has the home field advantage. We're here in Canton. We're here at the Action Building. So all of these TCW competitors are going to have that going against them before the bell even rings, right? Yeah. And so, to your point, everybody here knows the Infantry. You know, we've known Sean Dean since the very beginning of SHW.
Very beginning.
Carly came in a couple years later.
Yeah.
Then they teamed up a few years ago. They've been all over running Roughshod and ROH and AEW. And, of course, they came home at Still Here 6 and won those tag titles. First time that those guys have held gold in Southern Honor Wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. It's
They're
a huge moment.
very much SHW favorites.
Yeah.
So I think that our crowd will be biased against them.
I think
very
you're
much
right.
So.
I think you're right. I'm actually very interested to see how well the TCW fans travel. Because, like I said, the tour that we've been going on all year long has been different spots in Georgia, right? And we have had fans that have come to all of the shows. They've followed the shows to different cities, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how many of those fans make it here to Canton. But I think you're right. I think the crowd here in Canton, the Southern Honor faithful, are going to outnumber the TCW crowd. And I'm trying to remain unbiased here, but I'm just telling you like it is. We're in, the
we're
home
in Southern Honor territory. We're
this
going to
is-
have Southern Honor crowds.
It's the Action Building. It's the house that Lamb built, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's another thing, by the way. I guess Gary Lamb will be here, our general manager. This is his big benefit show for the Shriners, the Cherokee Shrine Club. All proceeds going to the Shriners Children's Hospital. And so all proceeds here tonight, and it's going to be awesome. We've got a great crowd crowd already filing in.
Yeah, we do.
And that's what's so special about this night. Not only are we getting to see a very unique circumstances where we see SHW versus TCW, but we're also raising money for a really, really great cause. So I'm excited about that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. And let's go on down the card here. Oh, by the way, before I go to the next match, let's talk about WCW legend Buff Bagwell. Buff the Stuff is in the house. He's doing a meet and greet here tonight. So if you're not here, by the way, you still got about 30 minutes before bell time, and you still have time to get down here. And again, tickets are available at the door. By the way, even though it is a benefit show and all proceeds go to the Shriners, kids 10 and under are still free, as always, here at the Action Building. So come on down, bring the family, bring the kids. Family-friendly entertainment. It's going to be awesome here tonight. But Buff the Stuff Bagwell in the house doing a meet and greet. Excited for that one. Let's talk about the big Southern Honor Championship match. It was one of the biggest moments, I think, in Southern Honor history that happened a couple of weeks ago at Still Here 6. Joe Black defeating Judias for the Southern Honor Championship.
That was
becoming
really good.
Now a two-time champion, right?
Yeah.
And just a huge moment. And talk about the place coming unglued. And that was a night full of moments, right? And you remember at the end of the show, it was like the crowd still had gas in the tank, and they amped it up even more for Joe Black. It was a very, very special moment. So
it was very special.
And now I know Joe, like I said, he defended the title against Kenway, which was an interesting matchup because you got two guys from the hierarchy.
Yeah.
But he defended it for Forever Pro just last Friday. Now Joe was successful there. He'll be defending it for the second time here tonight against Elijah Drago. Elijah Drago now, the Ukrainian-born thriller, who is very intimidating, and but he's like a big powerhouse. He's built and he's scary. And Joe's going to have his work cut out for him. Now, Drago's been at a lot of the TCW shows. He's got a great record, win-loss record. The thing is, Diana talked about this on the show earlier this morning about how he comes out to the ring and he always gets on the mic and he speaks, Ukrainian, and nobody knows what he's saying, and the crowd's yelling at him and he's yelling back. And then Diana said, she brought up a good point. She goes, well, he could be complimenting us. We don't know.
Right? We're just angry at him?
And I said, well, if he is, he's doing it with like an angry face, and I don't know.
Oh,
but maybe that's just how he talks to people.
Some people have like weird expressions.
Yeah, you never know. So we'll see, though. But Joe Black, I mean, how do you think, what were your thoughts, first of all? Judias, the longest reigning champion in history, SHW history, and to have it for well over a year.
Yeah.
And to finally, in that reign, Joe Black did, of Judias. What were your thoughts?
At first, I didn't think that Judias was going to lose it because how was he going to fit in that coffin? But that was my first thought.
Well, you notice we had to get a custom-made coffin that was a little bigger than most caskets, and so it was it was the jumbo size.
No, but that was a really good match. I really liked the suspense in it because I felt like they built it up really good. That was really good. I loved it. The crowd popped so good. Oh
my gosh, it was a huge moment, and you're right, especially with like Todd Sexton being out here, and then the members of the end game. You had CT Keys and Nick Halen both showed back up. Murder One had to run him off with a baseball bat. I mean, it was just chaotic. But in the end, Joe Black, huge moment. Of course, we covered that earlier today, but that leads us to tonight. He's got another big title defense against Elijah Drago. Like I said, the Ukrainian-born thriller, and going to have his work cut out for him, like I mentioned. Can he go 2-0? He's now 1-0 after defeating Kenway, and can he keep the undefeated streak now that he's a champion going? And we'll find out later tonight. But let's get back. Let's tie it all up in a nice bow here. We started out talking about the main event. Let's get back to it. The DWA Ultra-Violent Championship. I had to correct Diana now. It wasn't the ultraviolet, not the color. It's ultra-violent. You got to remember, this is the Killbilly. This is the War Machine Rhino. It's violent. DWA Dynamic Wrestling Association, their title on the line here tonight. Now, Rhino is the DWA Ultraviolent Champion. I believe he won it back in maybe December of last year, so he's had it for quite some time.
He's had it for a long time then.
And Nathan Mowry, the Killbilly, who we all know and love, who's come up, as we mentioned, day one. We're both day ones, and we've seen him go from the camera guy, production guy, to hardcore wrestler. And,
that was a crazy turn. I never thought Nathan would be like the hardcore guy in the ring.
And so now we've seen him kind of fall in with the Coven of the Goat, and he's with Tank and those guys, and Reverend Dan. And now he's got this opportunity, I think his biggest opportunity to date, to face a WWE, ECW, TNA legend, War Machine Rhino. And You heard GB mention earlier today that War Machine Rhino actually being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame this weekend. And so he's coming here first. And will he still have that DWA title going in to his induction ceremony? We'll find out later tonight. But how are you feeling about this huge main event?
I'm super excited.
By the way, did I mention it's Extreme Rules? I mean, it's got to be, right? Because it's Nathan Mowry, the Killbilly. It's the War Machine. It's got to be Extreme Rules. Right? What else, right?
Like, what other kind of rules would they be?
Yeah, so it's going to be insane. I mean, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm super excited, honestly. Nathan puts on a good match, and I think with it being with Rhino, I think it'll be good too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm super excited.
It's going to be insane. I think this crowd's going to be very excited. Once they heard Rhino was going to be here tonight, I know I'm excited. I saw him backstage. I'm already pumped up, and he's ready to go. We're ready to go, and we are just about 25 minutes away from bell time. You still have time to get down here. So if you're sitting at home on the couch tonight and you're thinking, what am I going to do on a Friday night, and you're anywhere nearby, we're at 261 Marietta Road, Canton, Georgia, in the Action Building, the home of Southern Honor Wrestling, tonight hosting SHW versus TCW Fight for the Children. As I mentioned, all proceeds going to the Cherokee Shrine Club and the Shriners Children's Hospital. So it's all for a great cause, and it's a very special night. I mean, when else are you ever going to see two promotions going head-to-head like this?
This is like unheard of.
Yeah. So this is like a dream card up and down the card here. SHW guys versus TCW guys, and then the DWA guys at the end of the show. So just a match full of just craziness and unpredictability. We're not, you never know what's going to happen. We say it every show. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who might show up.
But that's true. I mean, like, we have to say it every show because you really never do know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it's going to be pretty insane. But we're gonna roll out here and get ready. I see some of the Shriners making their way in, actually out in the front. There's a meet and greet. Don't forget with Buff Bagwell here tonight, and the crowd is already getting live. We got DJ Tonic on the ones and twos over there for the pre-show music, getting the crowd hyped. And man, I just can't wait. Well,
I know I'm hyped. Are you
Cheyenne
hyped?
Mike is, I am hyped. Cheyenne Michaels, thank you for joining me here.
Thank you.
This has been fantastic. Put her there. All right. Now you're official. You've officially done the pre-show. How do you feel?
I feel good.
See, it wasn't that bad, right?
No.
I told you it wouldn't be that bad. Well, tip of the cap to Diana Michelle and Gerard Bonner. They will be back with us soon. But in the meantime, we are going to break down here and get ready for the show, right? We still got about 25, 24 minutes left. Come on down. We still got time, and we got plenty of room for you.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, we'd love to see you. Tickets available at the door. Kids 10 and under are free. We'll see you soon, but until then, you know how this goes, right? This has been SHW, and this is our
wrestling.
There it is.
It took me a minute.
There you go. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Come on down.
SHW and TCW fans, tonight we come together for a great cause. Tonight we fight for the children.
Come together, over me.
We'll see a series of head-to-head matchups between Southern Honor and Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling superstars. The SHW Tag Team titles, the Jake the Snake Legacy title, and the Southern Honor Championship will all be on the line.
Oh, you count on me. One thing I can tell you is you'll get to be free. Come together, over me.
And in our main event, the DWA Ultra Violent Championship will be up for grabs in an Extreme Rules match as the legendary War Machine Rhino defends against the Killbilly Nathan Mowry. Now get on your feet, make some noise, and let's come together as we fight for the children.
Come together.